Hi, my name is Damien Kerr, and I'm talking about the lack of leadership by the government during this coronavirus pandemic. Have you ever considered the ways in which the coronavirus has affected us? Financially, physically, mentally, and emotionally? We have been taught to see each and everyone as a potential carrier of the virus. So, therefore, we have to abide by social distancing guidelines which impact our daily lives. Comparatively speaking, if we look at other countries whom are dealing with the virus, they have far less fatalities than the United States. Clearly, if our government showed leadership and responded swiftly, we would have saved more lives. Right wing or left wing, I believe that the public's health should be a top priority, especially during a pandemic. This should never be politicized. Our government should be held accountable for this mishandling of the coronavirus response. I think back on March 1st, when the first death of the coronavirus was reported, the government should have taken this virus seriously instead of irresponsibly downplaying it as a political stunt. Why would the president refer to this as a hoax put together by the Democrats? This is a public health issue, and it doesn't discriminate against black or white, Hispanic or Asian, young or old, Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative. This virus attacks the respiratory system, which causes the lungs to be filled with fluid, ultimately leading to possibly death. In the early stages of the virus, health experts recommended that the government impose stay at home orders and quarantine, which would slow the spread of the virus. But the slow response of the government led to the fatalities of an estimated 37,000 deaths. Why wouldn't the government issue a federal mandate to wear masks, wash hands frequently, and encourage social distancing? 2 months of nothing but playing politics and hoping this nightmare would just disappear in the summer months. Many individuals take their cue from the president, and if the president says there's nothing to worry about, then unfortunately they believe. We now know that shutting down the economy and imposing stay at home orders is devastating to the economy, but at least a mass mandate should be implemented. As a country, the COVID 19 outbreak presented a shocking impact for people to adapt their personal, work, or school life to that of a more health conscious reality to keep ourselves and loved ones healthy. Despite the unforeseen circumstances that this pandemic has presented us, we have to adapt and be vigilant knowing that a vaccine will soon be available to prevent individuals from getting sick. But we should never let our guards down. The burden that this virus has put on our healthcare system is overwhelming. In many states, hospitals are running out of hospital beds to care for COVID 19 patients. As it stands today, over 269,000 patients have died so far, with another 150,000 projected to die by Inauguration Day. Nurses and doctors are working overtime shifts back to back just to deal with the spike in cases. Family members of these healthcare professionals are also at risk for contracting this deadly virus as well as the professionals. This is a healthcare crisis that needs real leadership to communicate to the individuals that wearing a mask is not a way of government revoking their freedom, but showing solidarity as we battle a common enemy in COVID 19. As the cases continue to rise along with hospitalizations and deaths, there are persons who believe that this virus is not as serious as the fake news media claim. Unfortunately, the virus affects children and adults in much the same way, unlike previously reported by scientists. As we continue to learn more about the virus, we can say one thing is for sure that wearing a mask, washing hands frequently, and following social distancing guidelines have effectively slowed the spread of the virus. Many lives could have been saved if the government heeded the warnings of scientists and intelligence operatives. A nation has always looked to the government for guidance and protection, but unfortunately, it has undermined the reports of scientific discoveries. As our nation battles this pandemic, there are persons who are experiencing fatigue and frustration, emotional distress, depression, anxiety, and also possibly grief from the loss of loved ones. Children are socially depressed due to the fact that they are not socializing physically with their friends. They also experience fatigue due to the online learning environment. Amid this dilemma, it is imperative that we stay positive and understand that these strategies are put in place for our benefit and will only be for a time. Even though the first known cases of the coronavirus were in China, the country has seen only 4,600 deaths related to the coronavirus. This indicates that with thoughtful leadership and proper federal guidelines put in place, could have actually prevented over half the number of fatalities which we have seen so far. The government blatantly disregarded the scientific facts that led to the fatalities of so many Americans. In conclusion, even though the vaccine will soon be introduced to patients, please remember and encourage your family members and friends to stay away from large crowds, wash hands frequently, follow social distancing guidelines, and wear a mask because the life you save could be your own. And my citations are from CNN.com, from the Washington Post, and the Sun Sentinel. Thank you.